grab attention with your digital art. There's a few facets to making sure that you do it the best. Whether it is a post online or it's a print that you want to jam on a t-shirt, you can make sure that your designs, people can't help but look at them. We're going to go over the fundamentals of how we can do that today, and just talk a bit, riff a bit, chat a bit about how you can get those elements in your own work. The initial big point that I want to drive home, I think, to get people to really hone in and look at a design is contrast. I'm sure you've heard that before. The human eye is drawn to areas of contrast. So if you're doing a big painting and you have a contrasty area, people will look at that. So if you're walking down the street and there's a big crazy graphic t-shirt in front of you, you might think, wow, and can't help but look at it. Same with a design that's on your feed. Let's take a look at my own feed, for example. Here we have a selection of my artworks, and you can see straight away as we scroll down, the ones that pop out at you are these big, bold skull pieces that I did recently. These are even what got me thinking about this, is like, what is a piece that people look at? And it's those big, bold shapes that really get noticed. And when we talk about contrast, you think of a setting in your phone that you turn up when you post your selfie on Instagram. It's not necessarily just that. Black and white is very high contrast, which is why this white design pops so well off the black background. But contrast is also size in the design. You'll notice that there are areas, large areas of bold color, as in the white of the skull, but there's also smaller areas of detail. So that size difference, the large versus the small detail, can really drive home some visual contrast as well. For instance, let's just open Clip Studio here to do a little bit of sketching. Imagine a design where you could have one design on a t-shirt which you have an outline which is pretty chunky, and then you have a bit of a headline, maybe a band logo above it which is pretty chunky, and then you've got some design features in here that are going on, and they're all pretty chunky too, but there's not really much in the way of, it's all samey, right? There's no visual hierarchy there. You don't know what to look at first. Whereas with something like a band t-shirt, and you've got a big hulking band logo at the top which smashes in your face, and you think, wow, that really like blasts in your face, and a bit more of a, let's up that even more there with the thin detail of the side. You've got like some smaller shapes to do your outline of your piece, and then that kind of small detail on the piece then instantly gives you not just the contrast of the white ink or colored ink on the black t-shirt, but then you've instantly got some size difference going on there as well. And then even in the design, you might have, say, a skull or something in a top corner which looks super gnarly and it's dripping down, and then down here you've got some smaller elements. So both within your design as a whole and your design as in the piece that's on the t-shirt, it's not recognizable as anything particular, is it? But you know, just trying to drive the point home here that you could there's multiple ways to have contrast in your design, is what I'm trying to tell you. Don't just think about having white slapped onto a black t-shirt. It's also about the design as a whole, and yeah, using the size of your elements to further increase the contrast in your design, and that will get eyes on what you want to look at. Something else that I use a lot in my work, unless it's particularly called for to be otherwise, is vibrancy, real vibrant colors. If you're designing for digital just to be posting it online or to look cool somewhere on a phone screen, on a computer screen, you are designing, you're using RGB color spectrum, red, green, blue, and that allows you to get some really, really vibrant colors that you don't really get out of CMYK, like in out of a printer. Cyan, magenta, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. So that allows you to really push this crazy vibrance, these colors that you kind of can't get apart from on a screen. And by using those colors that really pop, you can, again, bring some visual interest, and have that contrast there without losing anything out to the ultimate contrast, which is black and white. But by using really vibrant colors for your secondary colors, or you don't even have to have used white at all, like in that in the Dead Flesh piece. It's obviously two greens, but really vibrant greens playing together, to really pop off the t-shirt. If you've seen one in, been lucky enough to see one in the Flesh, the Dead Flesh, they look fantastic. They came out really good. I picked one up myself because I was stoked on how the print came out. I think that was printed by Pins and Needles. So if you're from Pins and Needles, shout out to you. They came out sick. So yeah, using really vibrant colors. The cool thing, I just said before about, designing for screen. The cool thing about designing for screen printing, as in the way that they print on the t-shirts, is that the inks are custom mixed up. So they can actually get some super vibrant, really popping colors. Another one is another green, actually, on the Hidden Mothers t-shirt that I did. I think Pins and Knuckles printed that one too, and the green came out so good on that. It works really nicely on the black t-shirt and pops out super well. And there you can see a bit of contrast as well between the sort of more muted grey centerpiece with the popping color outside. The size of the elements, you have the small details in the piece with the big bold circular moon around the edge, really drives that visual contrast as well as the contrast of the colors. You'll notice in the background the moon, I didn't try to add too much detail to it because there's a lot of detail in the main image, and again, that is the idea. The next idea is kind of like bold, simple shapes really help to push that contrast, the visual contrast, not just the color contrast, which brings the eye to that space. I use circles quite a lot in my work because they frame things nicely. These are all quite intricate there, but I do have, I guess that one is the most recent sort of one that's showing that idea. But yeah, that really bold, punchy shape, to drive home that visual contrast, the difference between the two. Don't be afraid of keeping things simple, is what I'm trying to say. Don't feel like every inch of your artwork has to be blasted with detail. If you're doing a crazy deep illustration, that's great, But if you are a graphic artist, it's brilliant to have areas that have that detail and areas that are those nice, bold, simple shapes that will help your work to continue standing out. You see here as well, like areas of big, bold, flat color just really pop out from the rest of the design. So that's what will grab the attention. And then once you start looking deeper into the design, whether it's on a t-shirt, whether it's online, that's when you'll start seeing the details that might be otherwise lost. As can happen when you are absolutely blasting everything with nuts textures. Same here, the big bold, that's the video. I'm sure I posted that, no, that's the video as well. But you can see there with the Unholy Mind, the same idea is that like the big bold centerpiece blasting out at you, and then it's only around the edge is where you see all the detail that actually went into the work that you can see going on there. So it's good to have elements that grab attention, and then elements that keep you in the design once you start looking at it. And one final thing that I think is really important if you want to get people to look at your work is a human element. People like to look at people. So when you have people in your artwork, it immediately draws you in. It immediately tells more of a story. This particular piece, in the design process, I popped the guy on top of the building. You can see there, and it I wasn't sure about it at first. I was like, I popped him up there, and I was like, not sure. I sent across another option where he wasn't on the top, and the band were like, "Oh no, dude, keep the dude on top of the building, definitely." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. How come?" And they were like, "Oh, it just tells the story. Like it was about their song, which was about the world around collapsing, and it kind of immediately puts you in that character's space." And I was totally like, yeah, of course, that really makes sense. And so if you can use a character within your design to put people in that space, in that mindset, that's great. And as well, just from an aesthetic point of view, people just love to look at people. The ones that have always done well on my Instagram have been the ones where I shamelessly stuck my own face in there. Because I don't have any other models to work with. But yeah, like if I jam my face in stuff, it tends to get more traction on Instagram because people like looking at faces. The same with anything that I do with 3D. If it's humanized somewhat, it seems to do better because people like to see it. They like to look at other people. Humanoid figures, faces, really grab attention. I don't know whether it's a developmental thing, developmental evolutionary thing, when, you're always looking to pick out the faces, like when you see your parents' old wallpaper that's got weird patterns on it, you can always see faces in it. You just kind of make faces, so like when there is an actual face to look at, it's like, boom, I see you. That kind of idea. And it's all those little tricks that add up to make art that people naturally, kind of look at. They want to click on it when they see it in a feed. You imagine like, I don't know how much I can imagine how small it is on your phone. You're going through it, and like you're only going to think like, and click on like the boldest pieces, the ones that really stand out to you. So it's worthwhile utilizing those tricks if you can to maximize your standout versus what everybody else is doing, and maximize the impact on a t-shirt. If you're working for a band or you're making stuff for yourself, like, you want those t-shirts to grab attention so that they sell out, so that they do well for the guys that have helped you out by working with you, and you want to help them out by giving them some sick designs that sell well. And by grabbing attention, imagine you're at a gig, the t-shirts are up behind the band. Like, if there's like t-shirts that really grab attention from across the room, you might think, "Ooh, actually, that looks pretty sick. I'm going to go have a look at that," and that can help out the band, and then vicariously help out you, because the band is really happy with you that the t-shirts did well. I'm very lucky that all the bands I've worked with so far have come back for more stuff. So that must be a good thing, right? That must mean something's working. Hey, I think that's always a good piece of feedback, is when they come back to work with you again. And I think, yeah, keep those in mind. So we went through contrast. That is both color and size. Vibrance. Use vibrant colors to really pop off a black t-shirt, if you're making black t-shirts, as you probably are if you're a metal graphic artist. Use simple shapes. Don't be afraid to make a big bold shape to frame your detailed design. Remember that the visual contrast can not only be size, but areas of detail and areas of simple boldness. And where you can in your artwork, if it makes sense for the art that you're making, include a human element to make people feel like they could be the character within the design, or just a big old bold human face that people like to look at. I think that is everything I wanted to say on the matter. I hope that those points are useful to you. If there's anything else that you want to talk about, that you want to know, let me know. Drop a comment. I'm making these videos to help out. So questions that come up more often than not will be answered, because that's what's going to be most helpful, right? If you want to check out my bits and bobs, my fonts, my textures, and things that I use in all of the work that you've seen here today, check out my website. I'll put that in the link in the description. And yeah, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll be back at a similar time next week, and I hope you have a good one. Cheers.